Samuel Okafor used to be one of the happiest men on his street. Every morning, people heard him singing as he rolled up the iron doors of his small mechanic workshop in Lagos. He loved fixing cars with his hands. He loved helping customers. And most of all, he loved going home to his wife, Ifeoma, a very beautiful woman who always dressed like she was attending a party. Everyone believed they were a perfect couple. Samuel worked hard, and Ifeoma enjoyed the good life he provided. He bought her nice wigs, fine clothes, and even sponsored her makeup classes. He never complained because he believed love meant sacrifice. But life can change in just one moment. One hot afternoon, while Samuel was repairing a customer's car, a sharp pain shot through his chest. His vision blurred, his hands shook, and before he could call for help, he collapsed on the floor. His apprentice, Chioma, screamed and rushed to his side. People gathered, water was poured on his face, but he didn't wake up. That was the beginning of their nightmare. Samuel was rushed to the hospital, and tests showed he had a serious illness that needed long treatment. The bills were heavy. Within weeks, Samuel's savings disappeared. His workshop slowed down because he could no longer work. Some customers even carried their cars to other mechanics. And while Samuel's health became worse, something else also changed. Ifeoma changed. She became irritated by everything. She complained that she could no longer look beautiful. She shouted that she was tired of living like a poor woman. She blamed Samuel for falling sick. One evening, as Samuel lay weak on the bed, he heard her shouting on the phone. "I can't continue like this. I didn't marry to suffer. I need a man who can take care of me." Her words pierced his heart like a knife. The final blow came the night she packed her clothes into 2 traveling bags. She stood at the door, her face cold and proud. "Samuel, I cannot waste my life with a sick man. I'm leaving. Do not call me." Samuel tried to sit up, but his body was too weak. Tears rolled down his cheeks. "Ifeoma, please, don't go," she hissed loudly, turned her back, and walked away, her heels clicking on the floor like tiny hammers hitting his heart. The neighbors watched as she entered a flashy car driven by a wealthy club owner. She didn't look back, not even once. That night, Samuel cried until his pillow became wet. For the first time in his life, he felt truly alone. But what he didn't know was that someone he never expected, was about to step into his darkness and change everything. After Ifeoma left, the house became painfully quiet. Samuel could hear every sound, the ticking wall clock, the coughing from his own chest, and sometimes the footsteps of curious neighbors passing by. People whispered about him. Some pitied him, some mocked him, but nobody came in to help. Nobody. Except Chioma. Chioma was Samuel's young apprentice at the workshop. She was a calm, respectful girl with a gentle face and bright eyes. She had always admired Samuel, not in a romantic way, but because he treated her like a daughter. He taught her the work, gave her lunch money when she had none, and defended her when customers insulted her. So when she heard that Ifeoma abandoned him, her heart broke. The next morning, she arrived at his house with a small tray of food wrapped in nylon. She knocked gently. "Sir, it's Chioma. Please open the door." Samuel managed to stand with the help of the wall. His hands trembled as he unlocked the door. When he saw her, he immediately felt embarrassed. "Chioma, you didn't have to come," he whispered. She shook her head. "Sir, please don't say that. You took care of me when I had nothing. Let me at least help you now." She walked in and gasped. The house was scattered. Clothes were thrown around, left behind from Ifeoma's angry packing. The floor was dusty. Plates were piled in the sink. The whole place felt abandoned. "Sir, how long have you been like this?" she asked softly. Samuel sat on the chair, breathing heavily. "Since she left, I don't have strength to clean." Without another word, Chioma tied her scarf tight and began cleaning like her life depended on it. She swept the floor, washed the plates, arranged the clothes, and opened the windows so fresh air could enter. Then she brought the tray close. "I made jollof rice for you, sir. Please eat." Samuel looked at her with teary eyes. "Chioma, I cannot pay you. I don't even have money for drugs." She smiled, gently. "Sir, I'm not here for money. I'm here because you are a good man." Those words broke whatever was left of Samuel's strength. He covered his face and cried openly. Chioma knelt beside him, holding his hand carefully. From that day, Chioma came to his house every morning and evening. She cooked for him, cleaned the house, rubbed his back when he coughed, and even helped him take his medicine. Some neighbors gossiped, saying she was wasting her time on a man who would soon die. Others claimed she was after his future money. But Chioma ignored them. She washed his clothes. She prayed for him. She stayed by his bedside when he was too weak to move. She even took small jobs at night to buy his medical drugs. Slowly, Samuel started to feel something he thought he had lost: hope. And while he lay on his bed, watching Chioma move around his room like a quiet angel, he didn't know that this same girl, the girl cleaning his floor and spoon-feeding him, would soon become the reason his whole life changed. Days turned into weeks. Weeks turned into months. Samuel's sickness did not leave quickly. Some days, he could barely get out of bed. The pain in his chest was sharp, the weakness in his legs unbearable, and the fear of dying alone made him shiver every night. But through it all, Chioma never left him. Every morning, she woke before sunrise. She prepared his medicine, cooked warm meals, and made sure he drank water. She reminded him to rest when he wanted to push himself too hard, and she encouraged him when he felt like giving up. "Sir, your body is strong. You can fight this," she would say, her voice gentle but firm. Samuel began to notice small changes. One day, he managed to sit up on his own. Chioma clapped softly, a smile breaking across her face. The first time he ate a full meal, she cheered quietly as if he had won a great battle. Little by little, Samuel's strength returned. But it was not only his body that began to heal. His heart, which had been broken when Ifeoma left, slowly started to trust again. He began to rely on Chioma, not just for care, but for comfort. She never demanded anything from him. She never reminded him of his past mistakes. She simply stayed, day after day, proving that love could exist in selfless action. Samuel also began thinking about the future. Before, his workshop had been his pride, but it had slowed so much that he feared it might collapse. Now, with Chioma's encouragement, he slowly returned to work. At first, he could only sit and guide his apprentice while she tightened bolts and polished engines. Then, one by one, he lifted the heavy tools himself. Chioma would watch from the side, her hands folded, quietly proud. "Sir, you are stronger than you know," she said one afternoon, when Samuel repaired a car without assistance for the first time in months. And deep down, Samuel realized something he had never admitted. Chioma had saved more than his body. She had saved his life, his hope, and his heart. But life had a bigger surprise waiting for him, a twist he could never have imagined, and it would soon arrive in the form of opportunity and wealth, changing everything in his world, including the people who once abandoned him. By the time Samuel fully regained his strength, he had changed. He no longer feared life's storms, and he had learned a painful truth. People leave when the going gets tough. But some stay, some fight quietly for you, without expecting anything in return. Chioma had been that person. With Chioma's help, Samuel reopened his workshop. He started small, repairing old cars, fixing bicycles, and cleaning up the mess left behind while he was sick. Word slowly spread about Samuel's honesty, skill, and dedication. People remembered the man who had once treated everyone with kindness, even when they did not deserve it. One afternoon, a wealthy foreign businessman came to Samuel's workshop with a broken luxury car. Samuel worked day and night to repair it perfectly. The businessman was impressed not just with the quality of the work, but with Samuel's humility and dedication. He offered to invest in Samuel's workshop, promising to bring new tools, staff, and clients from all over the city. Samuel could hardly believe it. From the man who once barely had money for food and medicine, he was suddenly given a chance to grow into something much bigger. Chioma smiled quietly, holding his hand. "Sir, this is your second chance," she said softly. In less than a year, Samuel's workshop had grown into one of the largest auto service companies in Lagos. He hired dozens of employees, expanded to multiple branches, and even bought a small car dealership. His life had transformed completely, not just in wealth, but in dignity and respect. And through it all, Chioma stayed by his side. She had refused promotions, money, or recognition. She only wanted Samuel to succeed. And in doing so, she had become the most important person in his life. Not a helper, not an apprentice, but a true partner. But just as Samuel finally felt peace, life decided to test him again. One rainy afternoon, the driver announced that a familiar woman had arrived at the gate. Ifeoma, the woman who had abandoned him in his weakest moment, the woman who had left him to suffer alone, was back. She looked exhausted, broken, and desperate, but she had come asking for something Samuel had not yet decided to give. The sky was gray, and rain poured heavily as Ifeoma stepped out of the car. Her expensive heels were soaked, and her makeup had melted in streaks across her face. She looked nothing like the proud, confident woman who had left Samuel months ago. Now, she looked small, desperate, and defeated. Samuel stood at the gate of his workshop, watching silently. He had heard about her troubles, how the wealthy club owner had abandoned her after months, leaving her with debts she could not pay. But he did not feel pity. Not anymore. Ifeoma's voice trembled as she called his name. "Samuel, please, I beg you, forgive me. I was wrong. I was foolish. I didn't know what love meant." Samuel's chest tightened. He remembered the nights he had cried alone. He remembered Chioma, who had stayed by his side when he had nothing left. He remembered the pain of abandonment, the humiliation of watching his wife leave him while he was sick. He stepped closer but did not speak. Ifeoma fell to her knees in the muddy ground. "Please, take me back. I will do anything. I will be whatever you want me to be. I cannot live without you." Samuel looked at her, his eyes calm but firm. "Ifeoma, love is not proven when life is easy. Love is tested during storms. You left me when I needed you most. You chose yourself over me." Tears streamed down her face. I know I was wrong." Samuel took a deep breath. He remembered Chioma, the quiet, loyal woman who had nursed him back to life, who had never left his side, and who had been with him through every struggle. He thought about the man he had become, strong, wealthy, respected, and the woman he loved now, who had earned his heart the hard way. "Ifeoma," he said gently but firmly, "I cannot take you back, but I will not let you suffer either. Go, start your life again. Learn what it means to truly care for someone. But do not come back here expecting what you threw away." Ifeoma collapsed completely, sobbing in the rain, while Samuel turned and walked back inside, leaving her outside. And when he returned to the warmth of the workshop, Chioma was waiting, smiling softly, holding his hand. Samuel knew then that the storms of life had finally shown him who truly belonged in his heart, and it wasn't the woman who left, but the one who stayed. After the confrontation with Ifeoma, life felt different for Samuel. He walked through his workshop with a quiet confidence, no longer haunted by the pain of betrayal. Every car that rolled in and out reminded him of his journey from weakness and despair to strength and success. But more than that, he looked at Chioma, standing nearby, and felt a peace he had never known before. Chioma had been with him through it all, the sickness, the loneliness, the hard nights when he thought life was over. She never complained. She never demanded recognition. She only stayed, quietly proving that love could be loyal, patient, and selfless. One evening, after the workshop had closed, Samuel finally spoke, his voice soft. "Chioma, I don't know how to thank you. I owe everything to you." She shook her head gently. "Sir, you don't owe me anything. I stayed because I cared. You didn't give up on life, and I couldn't give up on you." For the first time, Samuel saw her not just as an apprentice, but as a partner in every sense of the word. He reached for her hand. "Chioma, I've realized something. You were the one who proved to me what love really means. I want us to be together." Tears welled up in her eyes. "Sir, I feel the same way, but I never wanted to pressure you." Samuel smiled, a warmth spreading through his chest that no money, no success, and no car could ever give him. That night, he felt truly alive, truly happy. It was not the wealth, the cars, or the respect that mattered. It was love, the kind of love that stayed through storms, that did not walk away when life became hard. Weeks turned into months, and Samuel's business flourished more than ever. Chioma was by his side every step of the way, not just helping him, but building a life together. They laughed, planned for the future, and healed the scars that the past had left behind. And though Ifeoma occasionally came to mind, Samuel never felt anger or bitterness. He had learned a lesson that would stay with him forever. True love is not shown when life is easy. It is shown when life is hard. The storms of life had tested Samuel, and in the end, they had rewarded him not with wealth alone, but with a love stronger than anything he had ever known. The sun rose slowly over Lagos, casting golden light across Samuel's new workshop. Cars gleamed under the morning rays, the streets buzzed with life, and for the first time in years, Samuel felt completely at peace. Gone were the nights of fear and weakness. Gone was the pain of abandonment. His life had changed, and it was all because he had endured, because he had survived, and because he had learned the true meaning of love. Beside him, Chioma moved gracefully, checking the accounts, arranging the staff, and occasionally wiping her hands on her apron as she smiled at Samuel. They had built more than a business together, they had built a life. Every success they celebrated was a reminder of the storm they had survived together. Every car repaired, every client satisfied, was proof that loyalty, patience, and love could overcome even the darkest days. One afternoon, as they sat together in the office overlooking the busy street, Samuel turned to Chioma. "Do you remember the day you first came to my house?" he asked softly. Chioma laughed lightly, shaking her head. "Yes, you were so weak, and I thought you might die any moment." "And yet," Samuel said, his eyes full of emotion, "you stayed. You never left. You never judged. You were the one who saved me. And in saving me, you changed my life completely." Tears filled Chioma's eyes, but they were happy tears. "I didn't save you for reward. I stayed because I knew you deserved it." Samuel took her hands in his. "Chioma, I don't just want you by my side for the future of this business. I want you by my side for the rest of my life. Will you marry me?" Chioma's eyes sparkled as she nodded, her smile lighting up the entire office. "Yes, Samuel, I will." As they embraced, the memories of the past of sickness, abandonment, and betrayal seemed to fade into nothingness. Samuel's life had been tested, and he had survived stronger than ever. The woman who abandoned him had returned only to learn that true love cannot be bought or forced. It must be earned through loyalty, patience, and selflessness. And so, Samuel and Chioma began their new chapter together. Their love, tested by storms, now stood unshakable. Their business thrived. Their hearts healed. And in every smile, every shared moment, and every challenge overcome, they proved that the greatest treasures in life are not money, power, or beauty, but love, loyalty, and the courage to never give up. The end. Thank you so much for watching this story to the end. I truly appreciate your time and support. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Your engagement helps my stories reach more people. See you in the next one.